today on Divorce Court?
Today I'm here on Divorce Court because me and Collin have some issues that we need to resolve. We need to learn how to communicate better and how to argue correctly.
We've been engaged for 2 years, and she cannot compromise, and she's entirely too controlling.
Today is our last chance to really seek that guidance from the judge, and hopefully she can help us understand how to move forward.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Collin Franklin and Brazhal Brewer. Mr. Franklin and Ms. Brewer, the two of you have been together for 4 years. You've been living together for 2 years. You have one child together, and you can't decide whether or not you should marry. I brought you in here. You brought me your marriage license. You took my compatibility test, and you're going to talk to me about the yays and the nays of marriage, and if I think it's a bad idea, I have permission to tear up that license. So, Mr. Franklin, I'm going to start with you. Why do you love her, but not quite sure marriage is what you ought to do?
Brazhal is too controlling.
Okay.
She's entirely too controlling. She can't compromise, and it causes big issues in the household.
Give me an example.
I've got a great example. Whenever I do the dishes, she's always worried about, like, small things, micromanaging. She tells me I don't soak the dishes properly. She gets mad about how I soak the dishes. And on top of that, she gets upset when I run the water if she thinks I'm running it for too long. Like, I'll step away from the sink while the water's getting hot, and she'll, step in the kitchen, turn the water off, Like, don't leave the water running. Now, mind you, she pays the water bill.
Thank you.
But it's not, the water bill's not gonna be outrageous because I left the water running for an extra 5 seconds.
It can get there.
Ms. Brewer, now he says you're controlling and a micromanager. I want you to step back. Step off every little thing and ask yourself, do you tend to tell him what to do, how to do it, when to do it, that kind of thing?
Yes, I do. I do believe that I can be controlling sometimes, but I feel like I wouldn't have to be if he does everything that he's supposed to be doing, especially since he's talking about running water and bills. If he was taking care of his business with the finances, and I wouldn't have to micromanage to make sure that he's paying his bills, because...
What's going on with his finances that makes you believe you need to micromanage him?
He doesn't know how to save his money. So basically, we'll make a budget, we'll make a plan, and he doesn't know how to stick to it. He'll tell me that he pays a bill, then when we wake up in the morning, we go outside, he has a boot on his car. So that means he hasn't paid the bill. Or we'll go outside and the car is towed, so he hasn't paid the bill. So I feel like if he steps up and just manages the money, I wouldn't have to make sure that he's on the phone standing, I have to stand right next to him to make sure that he's completing the transaction.
Now, Mr. Franklin, are you paying a lot of what I call the stupid tax? The stupid tax is what you end up paying extra because you didn't take care of your business. Getting the boot off, stupid tax. That kind of thing. Are you paying a lot of stupid taxes?
You know what, Judge? Yes. I'm paying a lot of stupid taxes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say I'm not at fault. I have my issues.
How is it that you continue to pay this tax when it's not necessary?
Well, the stupid tax comes from a lot of different things. She's right. I do, have a little bit of trouble saving money. Sometimes I may overspend on things that I don't necessarily need occasionally. But
I mean, is it electronics? Is it clothes? Is it shoes? What is it?
It's a little bit of everything. It could be electronics. Most of the time,
you happen to want, you gonna buy.
Yeah, most of the time it's clothes and shoes, though. It is mainly those things.
All right.
I don't know. I like to look good, naturally. I don't know. But another reason for that is it's not always just me. Like, for instance, this past Valentine's Day, right?
Right.
I tell her, I was like, babe, I'm not gonna be able to get you, a really fancy gift for Valentine's because of the financial situation. And naturally, she knows, because she knows I'm paying the stupid tax. And I told her, not gonna be able to do anything super nice for you, but I did do, bed and breakfast, flowers, the natural nice Valentine's things. And I said I was gonna, take her out for a nice dinner and, get her something, maybe, down the line when, my finances were a little more in order. She, actually that night, I believe it snowed, and we didn't go out to dinner. She was like, she didn't want to go out because it was snowing. But then she asked, so where's my gift? I was like, well,
I just told you.
Just told you I wasn't going to be able to afford to get you anything, right? So, she was really upset about this. She threw a whole tantrum, and then she didn't want to talk to me for the entire night. This is Valentine's Day. I'm like, you know.
Mrs. Brewer, did you throw a tantrum because you didn't get a gift right away for Valentine's Day?
I was upset because he did have the money to buy a gift because he was going out every weekend with his friends. So if he has money to go to the bars and drink, I feel like he would at least have, you know,
enough stuffed away to give you a little something.
Exactly. Something, you know, either heartfelt, or he could have bought some supplies and made something, you know, anything to just have like some sort of gift. If you have money to do all these things with your friends, I felt like I came second at that point in time.
I gotcha. Mr. Franklin, is other than her micromanaging, what's the most significant complaints you have about Ms. Brewer, or is that the overarching angst that you have?
She has altercations with several of my family members and my friends all the time about little to nothing majority of the time. For example, before I was discussing moving in with Brazhal, I was talking to my family members about us getting an apartment. He had posted something on Facebook, on the social media, saying like, oh, you know, me and Collin are looking for a place, and, you know, we're gonna need a third roommate, you know, because we had a specific spot in mind that we wanted to get. Now, mind you, I had just started talking to Brazhal about moving in with her. So he posts this, and Brazhal, she flips out. You know, she's calling me, you know, while I'm in class. She's like, you know, what is he talking about? You know, you said you were gonna move in with me and blah, 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 blah. She's like, so you need to tell him to take down the Facebook status. Like, I'm not gonna tell him to take down the Facebook status. I'll just tell him, you know, bro, I'm gonna, you know, move in with Brazhal. I decided to do something different. She's like, well, I'll handle it if you're not gonna handle it. She gets on Facebook and she starts, you know, saying all kinds of rude things that I even told her out of confidence about my family members, and it caused all kinds of problems.
Did you do that? Did you start a whole lot of mess over nothing?
All he had to do was tell him to take it down, and I feel like we wouldn't have.
No. But he didn't take it down, so you can act a straight fool?
What?
I mean, you don't get what you want. So there has to be mad chaos to follow because you didn't get what you wanted. Do you see the problem
Yeah,
there?
I see the problem. I probably, you know, should have taken a step back with that, but that was definitely like 2 years ago, so I have learned from that mistake. But speaking of tantrums, this man right here throws tantrums all the time when something doesn't go his way, and I feel like we...
Okay, we'll talk about his tantrums, and we'll also talk about what you say is his tendency to act like he's single.
Yes. There's been plenty of times where I'm asleep at night, he's hovering over me, and guess what's in my and in his hand? He has my phone, he has my thumb to the phone button, and...
Get in the phone, Mr.
Yes.
Franklin, you didn't. So, Ms. Brewer, you say he acts like he's single. Explain that to me.
Well, a lot of the times he hangs out with his friends and family members that are basically single or dating or not with their child's mother. So they go out all the time during the weekend. They have really no real commitment to a family or to a child. So he likes to go out with them all the time. And I'm like, I'm at home, you know, with the baby like majority of the week because he does work nights. So I'm with the baby, you know, about 6 days out of the week, and he only, you know, is at home for like 2 days, and when we have time together, he chooses to go out with his friends, and they stay out late, they're drinking there at the bars, and I always ask him, like, how do you want me to believe that you're this golden goose of the bunch that's not doing anything, you know, negative, but all
everybody else running around acting up.
Exactly.
How can I believe that you're not running around acting up too? Mr. Franklin, would you prefer to be out bar hopping with your friends than home with your child and your woman?
No. Naturally, that's not the case. And in my defense, I just started this overnight job. So it's just become a thing where we only really have 2 days to spend together. But when we have those 2 days, she'll micromanage me cleaning literally anything in the house, like even laundry. Like, she gets upset with how I sort the laundry. Like, you're misproperly sorting the laundry. Like, don't put your pants in with these shirts. It's like I want.
Ms. Brewer, do you harp on him about the details of it?
I mean, sometimes I do because I do. Yes, he does clean, and yes, he does help, but sometimes I do feel like it's not enough. He'll do it maybe like once a week or twice a week. And yes, how I mentioned that I do a lot majority of the week. So yes, sometimes I do feel like I should get a break and he should do majority of those things. But then, like I said, he chooses to go out, but then he'll switch his insecurities on me and try to find something on me. Like there's been plenty of times where I'm asleep at night, he's hovering over me, and guess what's in my and in his hand? He has my phone, he has my thumb to the phone button, and...
Get in the phone, Mr.
Yes.
Franklin, you didn't.
I did. It happened. I'm sorry.
Do you have any reason to believe that she may be doing the wrong thing?
Well, Judge, it's more so an issue with her. When she finds small things to complain about, it makes me slightly insecure about, you know, what she may be doing, because it's like, why are you so unsatisfied? She even gets upset with how I dress our daughter. Like, okay, so I like to dress her in what I like to dress her in, things that I bought for her. Majority of the time, there are boys' clothes, or they're not necessarily boys' clothes. They're clothes that probably you wouldn't see on a 2-year-old girl. But it's just how I like to dress.
I mean, I'm with you. Okay.
But this is something.
But Ms. Brewer, why don't you tell me about his temper tantrums?
He'll just start throwing stuff, like throwing everything. But let me tell you, he only damages my things.
Of course. Well, that's the point.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I don't want to. I'm sorry. I was loud just then. Speaking of tantrums, Judge, there was a story before I had the
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
I'm about to have a tantrum.
I'm sorry.
My lady over here. And I'm gonna read it in the tone in which I believe it was intended. I want a grown man and not someone who has to be babied and taught how to be a man, husband, adult, and family man. Are you scared yet? I read your compatibility tests, and typically the first couple of questions I always ask is, what do you want from your intended, and what does your intended want from you? And usually it's a very dull answer, and it's like loyalty, faithfulness, I'll give him my all 100%. My lady over here, and I'm gonna read it in the tone in which I believe it was intended. I want a grown man and not someone who has to be babied and taught how to be a man, husband, adult, and family man. I want respect and honesty. I want him to treat me and understand if he does what he's supposed to do, there would be no problems. I want someone who doesn't do petty actions if they don't get their way. I want to be number one and not number two to his horrible, raggedy crew who have nothing for themselves but a good time. I want commitment, truth, and communication. I want him to step up and understand he is a family man and no more excuses as to why he can't set up.
Woo!
Don't clap. Don't clap for that.
Are you scared yet?
I don't even know.
But now listen. I think everybody loses the point of the before your vows. We get in here and we talk for a long time about our anger, but we don't know why you would want to get married in the first place. By the time in this proceedings, we're like, well, what's wrong with these people? So I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Franklin. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to state what? No bad stuff, nothing negative. Why this woman is the woman for you above all others. Go.
Well, Brazhal she's definitely my number one. I worded that weird. But she's my number one above all others, family, my raggedy family, apparently, raggedy crew. Because, I mean, she's a phenomenal mom. She's there for me all the time when I need her. And, I mean, when things are great, Judge, they're perfect. Like, they're friggin' perfect. But when we're at it, it's like World War II. It's like what you just read. It's everything bad.
What did I just say to you?
You said nothing bad. I'm sorry.
Rolled right into it.
I did. I couldn't help it.
D-. Ms. Brewer, you got a leg up because you see where he made his mistake. 30 seconds about why Mr. Franklin is the man for you above all others and you love him and marriage is actually something you would consider. Go.
Collin Franklin is definitely the one for me. We've been through so much, and I really do love this person. I mean, we support each other, we care for each other. I really do think that if we figure things out on how to communicate and how to argue correctly, that we'll be able to come together, because I do love this person. He's a great father to our daughter, you know, even though he dresses her in boys' clothes, but I do feel like he is a great guy, and I know we're both growing together, but I feel like this is just that hump in the road that we really need to get over.
All right, I'm with you. I know what I'm gonna say, and I know what I think you ought to do. I had to remind myself over and over and over again that this was a before the vows, because I have an arbitration that you want me to award you some money. This woman got the man that she lives with, the father of her children, to sign a promissory note that states as follows: I, Collin Franklin, agree that if I decide to leave, I will continue to pay 6 months' rent plus pay Ms. Brewer back plus pay to remove from her Sprint account and $200 a month for my child. Got him to sign it.
Yeah.
Are you scared yet?
I'm afraid.
Listen, I want to say this to you. You're a cute couple. You're a beautiful couple. You look good together. I'm sure that child is one of the most beautiful babies I would ever see. I believe that. Now, Ms. Brewer, this is a cautionary tale about getting a man before he's quite ready. Guys that are 25, 26 years old haven't got that homing instinct. We get to nesting and all that, and we have a baby with him. Oh, now we've had a baby, I'm moving you in. Now you got to go next step, next step, next step. And he might not quite be ready. The bright thing to do is not to move in and not to have a baby with a dude until you know that dude is ready to commit to you on a long-term basis. That way, you won't be a crazy person that feels compelled to make a commitment happen no matter what. No matter if you decide he's not quite the guy or if he's not quite ready. You can tweak him when you get him, but you can't change him altogether. He is who he is, and you've got to make a decision. If all things that you named about him are wrong, don't change. Do you still want to love him, and can you live with him forever without being a persistent personality that just picks at the man till he runs away?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do understand.
That said, you made a baby with her. Put down the games, whatever shoes you're buying, whatever sharpness you're doing, because if somebody loses a job, somebody gets sick, something happens, you got to be the man that shows up with the cash to make sure that something bad doesn't turn into a disaster. The minute you got her pregnant, you lost the right to put your own personal wants first on an economic basis. Having said that, grow up. Grow up. And you need to shut up.
Yeah.
But as long as y'all don't invite me to the wedding, go ahead on and get married. This matter is adjourned.
Got some solid advice from Judge Toller today. She told me to grow up.
And then she told me to shut up.
Great advice. And, we're going to work on those things that we need to tie the knot very soon. I'm going to work on, getting my finances in order, for sure.
And I'm going to work on communicating and learning how to be more understanding and learning how to listen to him better.
We're going to make it happen.